Okay, well, I'm Till Marzloff. I'm the principal architect of Marzloff Architecture Design. I have 14 architects who work for me, and our office is in Jalan Mertasari in Kerobokan. And right next to me is...
I'm Mega, and I'm also an interior architect. I graduated as an architect, but I think when I came to this job, I feel like I fit more in the interior architect as an interior designer. And I think that's like what I feel like I do best right now. And I've worked with Till for 2 years. I think a little bit less.
more already, no? I think it's already more.
Well, time doesn't.
Time flies.
Time flies. Yeah.
Well, for us, it's quite important that what we do is actually a fusion of what is essential Balinese/Indonesian and what is clean, contemporary, modern style. The dash of Europe automatically happens because I'm European, I'm German. And I think when it comes to German architecture, it's very like strict and clean. And when you look at our DENAs, our layouts, they are pretty clean. And our walls and our, like whenever we build the buildings, we see that we have long grids going through them and make a very simple yet interesting layout. And when it comes to the looks of the house, we often put, if we can, we love to build beautiful overhanging wooden roofs, wooden structures, which sit on a wooden or concrete base. But we like to blend our architecture inside the landscape of Indonesia. I feel the biggest issue right now when it comes to sustainability actually starts on a very simple matter. And this is actually not an easy question, this is a complicated question. And I feel at the moment we're facing one big problem, the land prices go up.
Yes.
Because of the land prices go up, people want to maximize the amount of square meters they build in order to make profit if they build for money. I mean, of course, it's different if we have clients. We have clients who build residential. That's a little bit different. But people who build for investment, they use the land as much as they can. And even though Bali has restrictions, we have restrictions on 60-40, 50-50, what we are allowed to be built on, most people don't really care. They just want to build a lot. And I feel our job as architects actually is to respect the island, to respect the earth, and not fill it with a building, because also somewhere our rainwater needs to go. And the more we fill it up, the more we have flooding in the streets. And the more we fill it up, there's no gardens anymore, there's no greens anymore, everything gets hotter and hotter. Our climate is also rising anyway. And if the more concrete we do, everything gets hotter. We can see it. For example, when we go to Jakarta, how hot is Jakarta? And if we continue like Bali, we're going to be one day at Jakarta. And actually, we try to not be these kind of architects who do that. And when it comes to sustainability, we try to use our materials local. And we also try to use solar power if we can. If the clients want it, we always offer it. We're trying to using the rainwater for the toilets. But everything like that costs extra money, and you have to have the clients who are willing to do that. In the first contact, it's actually very rare that I don't say no to clients. Every client comes to us and we always open up and we always listen to them, and we give our input, we give our proposals.
We do initial meetings and like we talk about like what they like, what they don't like, their personal taste, and like how they want to live. Some people want a lot of storage, for example. Some people like, oh, I want to be minimalistic, I don't need a lot of stuff, something like that. So I think in the initial meeting, we kind of like narrow down what we are going to design for them, and we also find the styles of what they like, what they don't like. Yeah.
And mostly actually the clients who do not choose us is the ones who they approach us, but they want a different handwriting that we have, even though we have a lot of different options what we do, but we still have a certain kind of handwriting. And if you want a white flat house with black windows, you look in our portfolio and it's not there. So most likely they will go to other people. Even though our range is big, we have any kinds of styles in our portfolio right now. We also have modern contemporary flat roofs in it. So we're not stuck to a style, but we definitely try to be stuck to a certain kind of elegance in what we do.
I think after knowing the clients, we will send like different options. One is very similar to what they're describing, and then we will give something that is slightly altered from that. And then sometimes I just put a wild card in them, like maybe they will like this, maybe they will not. Like I just like to have fun with it sometimes.
It's like mood board presentations.
Yeah, mood board.
We toss styles at them. It's like, okay, good. Choose what you like.
Colors and like decoration and furniture.
But most clients come with a Pinterest board at us. You know, like you would be surprised. Like interior, they know pretty much what they want. Architecture, not really.
Yeah.
But interior, they have a lot of clear visions. It's
Yeah.
easier for somebody who's not in the field. They think it's easier, but it's definitely easier to, they pretty much know what they want when it comes to interior.
I think because as an architect, we define space as like how we use them as functions, and because a lot of clients comes with Pinterest boards, mostly sometimes it's just decorational and like just the looks. They don't really think of like how they're gonna use the space, like how practical it is to have this kind of table or that kind of wardrobes. And I think we do a lot of discussions with the client, like this is the pros and cons of like if you want this design, and we will have like a little bit of balance of like how the functions and the decoration will be.
Actually, one thing that I wish is just that people are respectful to the island. That's what I feel, that I would want clients to understand that you not always have to stand out. Sometimes it's also really pretty if you just fit in and build something which is very functional and very much matching with its surroundings, but it still has an architectural elegance to it. You don't have to be the one who screams loudest, because everybody out there tries to scream loud, and what we have is a lot of individual buildings who all scream loud, but they don't play together as a team. And I think a building should just be part of its neighborhood and just be at home where it's being designed. And I love when people say we want to build something which looks and feels Balinese, because at the end of the day, we're in Bali. Well, actually, it's my first real project in Bali, but it's very personal because it's also where my house is. So I built a 14 villa compound in actually Pumbak, Umalas, and this is where I live myself. So one of the villas is mine, and the others actually are for rent for tourists. I had the total freedom of designing how I wanted. It took me also a long time, I think 1 year or so, until everything was really designed. And until today, this is the project which matters most to me, because I wake up in it every day, and I still love it. And I mean, the houses are almost 10 years old, and I still love them. Because I aim to be timeless, and this is timeless.
It is.
Yeah, we do. Like we have builders we work with. We don't have only one builder we work with, because we believe that every project is so unique that some builders match and some don't. And because of what's going on out there, it's good to have a big range of builders, because some of them sometimes are busy, and then you have others you work with. But we can be a total one-stop shop. Like Mega, for example, goes to light stores and buys lamps and pillows and you name it. We have a published square meter price for the major services that we do. It's 750,000 per square meter. We go by square meter. That includes the design, the construction drawings, and the interior design drawings. And there's add-ons. Like we do architectural site supervision. We also help with the permit drawings. So this is all add-ons. But our basic standard price is 750K. No, because that is not from us, because that's MEP engineers and structural engineers. This is external engineers. I don't have them in-house. So here I believe actually, because a lot of contractors have them in-house. So when we already know the contractor up front, they come with their own engineers, or we hire, depending on the projects, we hire external ones who can handle bigger projects. Yes, you can. 250K per square meter. Well, at the end of the day, that's what everybody wants to know, right?
So we usually ask the client, what is your budget? And from that, it is kind of hard, because sometimes I go over budget, but
Yeah, the interior designers are a bit wild. But so what we're going to do here, we're creating actually from all the interior design, we're creating clean and clear Excel sheets, and then we're going to different suppliers and we're getting the quotes. We have lots of contacts. The clients who hire us for interior, we also assist in having everything produced. So we bring the furnitures in from our suppliers in Java, and the range of pricing is really like this.
Yeah.
So also we can adjust the quality of the furniture also to the budget. For example, also you need a different quality when you are in a high-end luxury sales villa, whereas if you build something which only has to last a few years for hospitality and it will change again, you can do it in a different kind of quality. Yeah, but budget-wise, of course, we ask the client first how much you want to spend, and our team has enough experience to know, okay, good, this is what we can do within this. By their portfolio. For example, we have a company who focuses a lot on more industrial buildings. So if somebody comes and wants to build a 3-story co-work space, we work with them. If somebody wants to come and wants to build a beautiful wooden house, we know, okay, we go with that contractor because they have a lot of experience in Balinese roofs. So that's how we choose them.
Site supervision.
Site supervision. There is 2 ways we do this. In projects, we are the quality controllers. And there is also bigger projects where you have an external entity who also controls and has close contact with us. But he reports to us, the quality control manager. Basically, he is the tool between us the builder and the client. You normally don't need a controller like this for like a normal house project doesn't need this. This is more like for big commercial projects. There you need it. Like you build a warehouse, for example, or you build a factory, or like you build a big resort. You would have an external person who comes, because what these people do is like, they count the steel and make sure that the steel is exactly the right amount of steel going into the concrete. Whereas when we build here on a smaller scale, we build with contractors that we trust. Like, nobody from us counts steel. Like we go to the building site, we make sure that what they do has the right dimensions and also looks like what we design. Okay, first of all, of course, there has to be a beginning, mutual, very positive feeling, And we are transparent in the way we work. Like, for example, when we are in design stage, we give out every week a progress report of what we have done in the week, of what we target, what is the next steps. So we keep the client always informed what's going on in our office. We have regular meetings. The client at any time can get in touch with us, can at any time see what we're doing. We do the same when it's in construction stage. We give a site supervision report every time when the team goes to the site. The client gets pictures, gets a whole report of what's going on, seen with our eyes. No, we are in charge to make sure that the contractor has everything he needs to finish the project in time. Like we are in charge to make sure that the project is not delayed from the architect's side. But there can be other things that cause a delay, like for example, a rainy season which lasts too long, or suppliers who cannot bring in material. So there's a lot of other factors who might delay a project. Our job is to make sure that everything that requires our work is on time, but mostly our work is done before the site even starts. Like all the drawings are done.
Usually, because our projects mostly comes from the architecture, so we already somehow knew the client. Let's say we go to the interior stage, we will start with mood boards and getting to know which styles they want. And then from that, we will go from room to room, so we know like this is the good start for them or not, or if they're like, actually we don't really like this style, and we can revise. And then like, because if we do the whole thing all at once and then the client doesn't really want, we have to do the whole thing again. And I think it's, if we do step by step, we also make the whole thing kind of flows in the same style, I think. And then after that, we do the Excel sheets, and then we contact all our vendors, and we give to the client the options, like which pricing you want to go. And and then we go from that, we go to installation and the buildings.
During the design stage, when we are like working rough and in SketchUp and playing around, you can revise as many times as you want. No problem. We are super easy. The only thing you have to live with, the more you revise, the more time it takes. And then at one point, the design drawings are fixed. And then we go into the construction drawings. So we're moving from that design part where we build in 3D into the drawing. And once we are in this stage and you revise at a very late stage when we're already having this big pile of drawings done, then it's a different story. We have had that only once in our professional life yet, and we just charge the amount of extra work. And when this package is done, and like imagine you have the whole package, and then you say, I want to build a totally different house, well then it's a totally different contract. But that has never happened. You can hire us for being the architects involved in the building process. And when you do a revision on something that is on site and we have been hired on a monthly fee, we do these revisions as part of that service within that fee. Yeah, we call it architect involvement in the building process. Depends actually on project size. It starts at 3 million for something very small. Can go up to 10 for bigger project. Big project, let's say, is like a 10 villa compound. A small project is a 150 square meter house. It depends also on how much we have to be involved. Like for example, like we charge differently in the structural stage because it doesn't need a weekly site visit. In the finishing stage, it needs a minimum a weekly site visit. So we charge more in the finishing stage. Like the standard is like 3 in the structure, 6 in the finishing. We fully do. If we see that it's doable for us and we like it, the project, we definitely want to try to get it. Yeah. And we have no problem. As we said, we have a handwriting, but it is very diverse. There is architects, for example, who only have one style. You don't like that style, you better don't go to these architects. We have so many, because I give my team a lot of freedom. So that's why also our houses are very different from each other. Mega can go nuts if she wants. No, I don't think it's the opposite, because in the end of the day, it can be unique. And it still matches in the environment. It can still be very, very unique and special in its own way. I'm just saying, look at this compound here. They're all beautiful, the houses, they're all pretty. And then there's this super modern one here, but it uses the same materials like the others around it. So it kind of fits in, but it still stands out. It's that balance that is our job as architects. If it would be suddenly a pink house here, we would question, why is that pink? You know what I mean?
We actually have some projects like compound villas. For those, we will ask like, what is the look that you want? You want luxury or you want something that is like more humble and like more natural? And then from that, we kind of see the market of like how the future buyers of these villas, what they look for. And then we go from that. I think we have to know the certain looks that they look for. And it also have to match the architecture. Like maybe if you want some super modern villas and then inside is very like decorative Balinese, which is it is like very juxtaposed. I think. For me, I think because interiors are more close to you, you kind of want to make everything according to your style. You don't really think about the market. You have to remember that this is not just for your home. If you want to sell this, you have to remember that there are markets and your design has to be marketable.
First of all, because our ego is not so big, and we see us as people who support somebody's dream rather than us like realizing our dream. We want to be of service. This is our job. We give a service, and if they choose us, we make sure that they get what they want. Because what's the point in fulfilling our dream if it's not the dream of the person who built something? Because once the building is done, we walk away from it. But the person who we built it for, they deal with it. And they must be happy. And I think that's the biggest job of an architect. Make the people happy, give them what they initially have dreamed of.